live, welcome to your practice this morning. If you're watching this at any other date, welcome, and I hope you have a good practice also. So this morning will be a foundation level class. That's our kind of beginner friendly, beginner accessible class. So always remembering, coming in only as far as you're comfortable. Even though it is a kind of beginner friendly class, we'll have some challenges dotted throughout the practice to keep you engaged in your practice, but don't force very much, just play. So to begin, be in any seated position, whichever way works best for you. You can have your legs out in front to any variation, hand support as you need to. If being in a seated position is very uncomfortable or challenging, a lying down position is welcome. Then a little practice it will come. If you're in a seated position, lifting your spine is your primary awareness, trying to sit as tall as you can. Adopting a hand gesture, thumb and index finger together, or one hand resting on top of the other is another such variation. If you're uncomfortable with this, you can allow your hands to rest as you need to. If you're seated, sit as tall as you can. If you're lying down, adjust the body to a point where you can feel that the body is held, the body is comfortable. Well, no matter where you are, eyes closed, mouth closed. And allow yourself a moment to arrive. Allow yourself a moment to step away from whatever's been occupying your mind, whatever's been holding your attention. And as you work towards creating a little space for yourself, space from whatever's been holding your attention or occupying the mind, know that you're not trying to suppress, you're not trying to fight any thoughts. Instead, we'll just encourage a gentle shift of the awareness. As you begin by becoming aware of the physical body. How does physical body feel this morning, or whatever time you're coming to your practice? Begin at your toes. Any tension, any holding, or if body feels good. And from the toes, allow the awareness to move up through the body. Just noticing along the way. How does body feel? Any areas of particular tension, be there for a moment. And when you arrive at the crown of the head, no rush in doing so. Move into the headspace with a mental inquiry. How am I feeling? How is your mood? How are the energy levels? Are you feeling agitated? Are you feeling bored? Without trying to change, just notice. And with this attuned awareness, we'll softly become a witness to the breath. Without trying to change or force the breath, allow your awareness to rest at the very tip of the nose. And with your awareness resting here, just notice sensation. Sensation for the inhale. The sensation for the exhale. Once you experience your inhale, mentally repeat, breathing in. On the turn of the breath, breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And continue with this awareness for a few moments. If the mind begins to wander, be patient, be compassionate with yourself. Each time, just recognize where it goes. Then bring it back to the breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. Mind wanders. Bring it back. If you're in a seated position, please do remain as you are. If you've come to a lying down position, knowing that there's no rush, just softly begin to stir. Take a moment to come to your side. And once you feel steady, push up, but no dizziness, take the time. Namaskara Mudra, if it's comfortable for you, palms to lightly press. As you take a moment to set an intention, a sankalpa, or dedication for your practice. Release your hands, chin to chest, a few gentle blinks, opening of the eyes. Namaste. And softly raise the knees up. Legs crossed over as best you can. Your knees raised high and your thighs in towards your chest. You're aware that you can take your hands behind you if you need to. If comfortable, your thighs and your shins. If very comfortable, feels good, go for wrist or form. But no matter where you are, the intention is creating real length in your spine, sitting tall, gaze is front. If you haven't already done so, we'll begin to put a little conscious effort into our breathing, in through the nose, out through the nose, as best you can. Very comfortable here. Without disturbing much, turn the gaze to your right, keeping the neck nice and long. In an effort to maintain the neck long, keep the gaze at mid-level. Often if you look down to the ground, the head will start to tilt, and there'll be a little side fold included, but as best you can, keep it at mid-level. Lengthen the neck, and just lengthen your breath. Smoothly back through the center. To your left, being aware that each side can be different and each practice can be different, so not fighting for equal depth. Breathe. Back to center, taking care as you return. Releasing the clasp of the hands if you're there, the thighs or the shins, or even the knees. And we'll return to a cross-legged position, or perhaps if you're in a lying down position, you're coming to it for the first time. Being in any variation of the cross-legged position is best for you. Your legs can be taken out front as you need to at any moment. We'll take our right hand to our right side and behind, thinking bringing it closer rather than further away, as we'll intend to lean if it's further away. The left hand will hook over your right thigh. As you inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, little twist through the torso, then the gaze follows, but no pressure. Your next inhale smoothly back to center. Exhale to your left. Inhale center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale right. And be there for a moment if you can. Spine is lifted. You encourage length with each inhale. And it's a slight deepening of the twist on the exhale. Inhale center, exhale left. Maintain it there, no pressure on the neck. raise the knees up. Grabbing towards the ankle or shin rather, bring the heel a little closer to the bum. We're going to come front on all fours. You can do so by sweeping your legs to the side. But if it's accessible for your knees, accessible for your hips, and you're just playing around, take the hands front, raise tall on your knees, and then unravel the legs. Once you've arrived, no rush in doing so. Give yourself a moment to set up. The initial intention is your shoulder directly over the wrist with your fingers well spread. If this angle presents a challenge for you, you can play around with hands front as you need to, or making fists as required. Your knees are underneath your hips initially, so that you know your thighs are vertical. Then you can go wider from that point. So the eventual intention is your wrists, your knees and your toes working in a straight line. Once you've got your good alignment, we'll imagine there's a point in between the knees, there's a point in between the hands. We want to move around these points in circles, coming together in figures of 8. We'll go slower. So slower, more intentional movement initially, in smaller circles. So you start with the bottom. You make a half a circle around the point in between the knees. Once you come to the top of that half a circle, you make a full circle around the point in between the hands. Then you complete the bottom circle with the hips around the point in between the knees. Bring the figure of 8 together. And continue for a few rounds. The intention as you move around and rotate through these circles is just to inquire into the body's reaction. As you're circling back, the reaction in your hip, outer and inner, the knee. As you circle front, the reaction in your wrist, your shoulder blade. And if all is responding well, you can begin to make the diameter of the circles a little bigger. So you're making bigger figures of 8. But don't fight for depth. Complete your current figure of 8 and then change directions. A little challenge with coordination. You start with the hips, followed by the upper body, then completing the lower limbs, completing the bottom figure of 8, the bottom circle. Again, you're beginning with smaller rotations. You're building towards bigger. Recognize what's happening to your hands. Are your hands beginning to cup the mat? Spread the fingers. Encourage base of index finger to connect. And completing your current figure of 8, returning shoulder back over wrist, the wrist to knees and toes in a straight line. And then this is good, it'll encourage you to bring your toes together. But endeavour to maintain the hands where they are. And please be mindful to your hip, your knee and your ankle, only coming back as far as is comfortable for you. As you exhale, bend at the knee. The intention is sitting all the way back on the heel, but you can be anywhere before it. As you inhale, raise back up, shoulder over wrist. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, raising up. If this is good here, you're welcome to maintain the feet in the position you're in. Perhaps you take your feet halfway apart from the distance they are. So not all the way in line with the knees, just a little bit before that. Then same movement as you exhale, bend at the knee, sitting back in the heel. Inhale, elevating up. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, raising up. This feels good. Sliding the toes further apart, so you're returning to your original position of toes, knees and wrists in a line. But you can be anywhere before that. As you exhale, bend at the knee. Just noticing the difference. Inhale, elevating up. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, raising up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Smoothly up. Returning shoulders almost over the wrist. If comfortable from here, we're going to work with our wrist stretch, so working with the area in front of the wrist and the forearm. There will be perhaps a reaction through the shoulder also. If you have any tenderness in any of these areas, please work a little easier. Don't fight for depth. Working with the right hand initially. Raise the right hand up. And then you can begin to turn the right hand out. You're turning the fingers to the right side and then coming all the way around. The eventual intention is the tips of the fingers pointing back towards the knee. Tips of fingers go on the base of fingers and heel of palm. No matter where you are, no matter what degree you've turned out, recognize where the right shoulder is. Has it come up close to the ear? Can you draw the shoulder away down the back? You're welcome to work with one hand at a time. So you can bring back the right if necessary. If you're familiar and comfortable, welcome the left also. Both shoulders now, drawing away. Breath flows. Softly come to rest. Bring the left back, followed by the right. Maintaining toes in line with your knees if you can. If necessary, they can come together. Sitting back as much as you're comfortable. Then ground the elbow and the forearm. Flip your palm. Palms to face the ceiling. Feels good for the neck. You can also release the head. And just 3 steady breaths. Raising of the head, if you've chosen to release. Flip the palms back over, really spread your fingers and elevate the elbows so you're straightening your arms. Then return. Shoulder over the wrist as best you can. The knees are wide, the toes in line with the knees. Few rounds of your tiger breathing as we work. Endeavour to maintain shoulder over wrist, so maximum movement through the spine. We'll think head lasting to move. As you inhale, arch through your lower back, so you feel the belly drop towards the mat. Middle back. Upper back, then lifting of the head slightly is up and no pressure on back of neck. As you exhale, head lasting to release around your lower back. Middle back. Upper back, release the head and round the spine. Breathe as much as you need to if you can coordinate. Inhale, arch lower back. Middle back. Upper back, lifting of the head. Exhale, lower. Middle, upper, release the head, shoulders still over wrist. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Be there for a moment if you can. Push away the mat, shoulders still over the wrist, belly lightly drawn, middle back to ceiling. Breathe. Beautiful. Next inhale back to an easy spine, belly drops lightly, gaze extends towards front of the mat. Take your knees to be wider. Knees as wide as the mat almost if you can. Slide your feet together so big toes to touch. Sitting back as best you can. There's many variations. The first such option is without raising the hip to any degree. Slide your hands as far front as you can. Then maybe forehead comes to mat. If this presents a challenge, stack palms or stack fists and create support here for the forehead. Hips can be higher if necessary. A few steady breaths. And softly lifting the head. The gaze is front. If you've taken stacked palms or stacked fists, extend your arms out in front. If you're already there, maintain as you are. Now the distance between your hands and your feet is correct for downward facing dog. The intention is a mild downward facing dog. But don't force, you can be at any of the variations as we come up, so choose which is appropriate for you. So you can be as you are or return to this point. If all is well, we'll raise the hip. Maintain the distance between the hands and the feet, but just simply create more distance between your feet. Shoulder distance apart, take the toes under. It still feels good for you here, then raise your knees off the mat. Very comfortable, keep it bending the knee, but you're pushing your hip up and back. Your torso is working back towards the thighs. The gaze is straight down. Mind for not dropping the head and checking out your feet. Gaze down. Spread the fingers. While here your intention is keeping the even weight in the hands. Torso back towards the thighs, so creating length in the spine. And steady breath. If it becomes challenging, please ground the knee. Breathe.
This feels good. We'll make our way to an effortless forward fold. If you find that challenging from a downward facing dog, please ground your knees. Then come to standing and explore from top down. All is well, however. Bend the knees even more. As you inhale, walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees even more as you walk your hands back. Take all the weight into your feet. The feet are shoulder distance apart, so if they have adjusted to any other variation, return to shoulder distance and choose an appropriate depth for you. If your hands come with ease to the mat, they rest there but they bear no weight. Your arms are heavy and the head is heavy. If you're up off the mat, that's beautiful work too. Any challenge in the back, any dizziness, torso parallel or higher, hands on the thighs, and don't release the head. Feels good, explore depth. Breathe. Arms and the head remain heavy. Keep a bend in the knee. Your next inhale, push through the feet lightly and roll up through your lower back. Recognize that your arms are still heavy and that there's a bend in your knees before you come to the middle back. Still bend maintained in the knees as you come to the upper back. Remembering if you come up too quickly you can get dizzy, take the time. Head is the last thing to lift. No rush. Come all the way up. Once you're up, and you feel steady, edge your feet a little closer now, so hip distance apart. To get hip distance apart, recognize where the centre of the thigh is. Draw a line straight down. There's the centre of the ankles, toes pointing straight ahead. Your hands are on your hips, your awareness and your gaze comes into your toes. All is well, raise your toes, then ground your toes. Raise all of your toes, then ground your toes. Raise all of your toes. Keep all of your toes up except your second to little toe. Second to little toe come to ground. So it's just the big toes even that you're maintaining up. Second to little toe raise. Second to little toe go around. Concentrating completely on your feet. Second to little toe raise. They maintain up now as your big toes come to ground. Big toes raise. Big toes ground. Very comfortable, maintain the big toes grounding. Keep the second to little toe up. Rather the three in between will bring the little toes to ground. So big toe and little toe to ground, but three in between will maintain reaching. Breathe. Ground all of your toes. Take your feet to be wider. So shoulder distance, but you're maintaining your feet parallel, toes pointing straight ahead. Hands come on the hips. Hips maintaining a straight line across, and you're going to come into a little hip glide. Pushing from side to side. Recognize as you come into the outer edge, do you twist? Can you keep your hips working on the same level and same lining across? Next time you push your hips to your right, maintain it there for a moment. Notice that you're not bending at the knees. Reaction, the outer hip. Smoothly to your left. How slow and steady can you work? Back to center. Release the hands. Maintain the feet at the good distance they are apart. Hands at the side of the body or moving through our shoulders. We're going to keep the intention of having the hands on the sides. Trying to bend the front or the back movement. Gaze is front, chin sets a little back. As you inhale, retract your shoulders back. Elevate your shoulders up. As you exhale, front and down. Inhale, shoulders back. Arms still straight and up. Exhale, front, hands still on the sides and down. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, front and down. Pause there for a moment. Inhale, elevate up from that point. Exhale, retract back and down. Inhale, front and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, front and up. Exhale, back and down. Shoulders free. Your hands can come to your hips. If it feels steady, however, take your hands behind. Go for opposite wrist, forearm or elbow. The gaze is front. The chin is set a little back. Without disturbing your shoulder, turn your gaze to your right.
So recognize that the chest doesn't come along, just head and neck. Slow and steady to your left. Back to center. Lift your chin. Lift the chin towards the ceiling rather than drop the head back. Chin to chest. Back to center. Set the chin back a little. Right ear, right shoulder. Don't force for depth even. Any pressure, any pinching to go forward, please. Back to center. Up to your left. Center. Release the hands from behind. Flip the palms to face front. Take a medium bend of the elbows. Grab an imaginary glass or bottle in your hands or vessel. Endeavour to pour that all the way up behind. As you pour up behind, recognize if you're lifting your chest to achieve this. Keep your ribs back. We'll maintain the pouring out motion, but we'll softly go through a few rounds of extending it and bending at the elbow. Breath flows. Keep pouring out if you can the entire time as you work through the different ranges of straightening the arms and bending at the elbows, and you're just noticing the reaction. What's the response? Next time you come to a medium bend of the elbow about halfway, we'll endeavour to maintain it there. Draw your chin back in a real exaggerated double chin, so please note that it's not chin towards your chest, it's chin straight back, ramping into your neck. Then glide your face front into your phone, into your text neck. Double chin it. If this feels good, we'll come front and up in an arc. Then down and back, double chin. Leave the chin come a little front. Palms to face front, extend your arms straight. Smoothly bring your hands up in front. So palms to face, the arms are working at shoulder height. If you have any challenge in the shoulder, please know you can take a rest at any moment. We're going to get a little twisted. As we get twisted, keep the hips facing front. So we don't want the hips to move. We want to twist from waist up. Take an inhale. As you exhale, your left hand to your right shoulder. Your right hand swings behind the searches for your left hip. Get a little twisted to your right from waist up. So hips still face front if you can. As you inhale, back to center. Exhale, right hand, left shoulder. Left hand behind, get a little twisted to your left. Little challenge in the coordination. Inhale, center. Exhale to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And be there for a moment. Recognize if you're lifting the ribs and creating a little arch and a lean back. Keep the sternum back so your spine maintains lifted. Hips face in front as best you can. Breathe. Inhale, center. Exhale to your left. Maintain it there. Inhale, center. Flip the palms to face down. Maintain the feet a good distance apart and have a good bend in the knee. The intention is gentle back bending and forward folding. If you have any challenge in the back of the body, please don't force for depth. It's a very mild variation. Any dizziness, likewise don't force for depth coming front. Keep the bend in the knee. As you inhale, raise your arms. If you can, in line with your ears, but you can be anywhere before it. This feels good. Keep the bend in the knee, but tuck the pelvis under and explore just a very mild back bend. It's a slight gaze up. Your next exhale, push the hip back, then hinge from the front of the hip. Keep a length in the spine, choose an appropriate depth for you. Swing the arms and release the head if comfortable. As you inhale, good bend in the knee, push through the feet, feel them work all the way up.
Talk the pelvis, gentle back bend. Exhale, working front. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Coming up, keep the bend of the knees, talk the pelvis, a gentle back bend. Be there for a moment if you can. If you've any challenge in the back of the body, please simply just stand tall, keep the arms extended. Don't maintain the hold. Feels good. Good bend of the knee, talk the pelvic, bottom muscle lightly engaged. Just one more breath. Inhale. Stand nice and tall. On the exhale, we're going to release the hands in front. Once you come to shoulder height, flip the palms to face each other, bring the palms to press. Maintain a good distance between the feet. If you're feeling like the shoulders fatigued, please take rest. Don't fight for depth. Your next inhale, open up your arms, expand your chest. You're welcome to take the fingers and the hands behind the shoulder line, but mind you're not trying to achieve this by lifting of your ribs. Keep the sternum back. As you exhale back through the center. Inhale, open up. Exhale, center. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, open it up. We'll come to shoulder level if you can. This feels good. If you have any challenge in the shoulder, please mindfully apply. We're going to rotate from the shoulder, but think moving from your bicep. Little challenge, biceps will turn in opposite direction. One turning back, one turning in. Your palms will flip, but we want the movement to come from the bicep, to come from the shoulder, but think moving from the bicep. If this is creating a pinching, arms lower. Still pinching, arms in front. Breathe. Beautiful. Come to rest with the movement. Palms to face front. Smoothly as you exhale, bring the palms together. Bend at the elbow. Bring the palms in front of the chest. Step the feet together. One smooth step or a few steps. Now if you have any challenge in the back of the body, please work a little easier here. Recognize the steps so you can maintain as you are. If it feels good, push the bum back just a little. You'll recognize once you do so that your hip will be behind your heel and your hinge front, the torso will lean a little front. If this feels good here, bending slightly at the knee. And just I want to encourage you to bend the knee to the point that you can maintain your knee over your ankle. So checking in with your alignment, palms to press. Where is your sternum, where is your chest? Sternum is back. And be here for a moment. A variation of your Utkatasana, your chair pose. Beautiful. If this feels good, we're going to be in the chair pose, the Utkatasana, but maintain, or rather come into a little twist. So you maintain this alignment of the knee and the ankle. On your next exhale, you're going to allow your left elbow to drop down. You're trying to bring your chest to face towards your right side. Recognize that the left knee pops in front. As best you can, keep your knees level. So this means the hips are level rather. And you get a good twist from the waist. If comfortable, the gaze also turns slightly to your right. Breathe. Inhale through the center. Next exhale, you're twisting to your left. So your right elbow will drop down. You're trying to face your chest towards the left side. But recognize where the right knee now is. Is it popping in front? Keep the knee back. Lower belly, base of pelvic lightly engaged. Gaze to the side. Any challenge on the neck, gaze down. Inhale back through the center. Take the bend of the knees. Stand nice and tall. If you're comfortable, extend your arms straight. Really lengthen it. Sternum is back. If this is a challenge for your shoulders, your neck, hands front as you need to. A little practice in line with your knees. Beautiful. If this feels good, keep your arms lengthening, but turn to the long edge of your mat. Then step your feet to be 3.5 to 4 foot apart. This is quite a generous distance. You can be shorter, little practice here. Heels and 9 feet parallel, sternum is back. Your next exhale, release your hands. Shoulder height, flip the palms to face down, and release your hands entirely. A light rolling on the shoulders in one direction, and then changing direction. And back to center. The intention is getting a little twisted. If you feel like there's fatigue in your shoulders, or particularly if you have any challenge with your hip or your lower back, I'll encourage you to maintain in a nice and tall position. You can work from fingertips in front of your chest and getting twisted from here. And likewise to your left. If all is well, however, we're going to work forward towards parallel, bending your knees as much as you need to achieve that or before, and then get twisted from there. But choosing which is appropriate for you, there's no pressure or force. So you can have your fingertips in front of your chest and twist lightly from here as we move with the breath. If it feels good, however, you're playing around, hands on the hips, put that bend in the knee. As you exhale, push the hip back a little, then fold front from the front lining of the hip. We're working towards parallel. You can be anywhere before that. If it's within your comfortable limits, I'll encourage you to bring your fingertips to the mat and cup the fingers, make a cup shape. Take an inhale. On your next exhale, you can bring your right hand to your right hip and softly twist the shoulders to the right. If very comfortable, extend the right arm up towards the ceiling and gaze to the hand, but no pressure on the neck. As you inhale, come back to center, bring your fingertips, or if very accessible, your palm to the mat. Extend your left arm up or left hand to the hip. Feels good, gaze to the hand. Inhale back. Exhale, twist. Coordinate the movement, recognize the variation. Inhale back. Exhale to your left, whether you're standing upright or you're in the forward fold twist. Inhale back. Exhale right. Inhale back. Exhale left. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale smoothly back to center. Then bend the knees, maintain. Hands come to the hip, gaze is front, push through the feet. As you inhale, smoothly come up. But take the time, no rush. And softly step or walk your feet back together. We'll turn towards the front edge of the mat. You're thinking a foot's distance from the front of your mat, or so. Feet shoulder distance apart or wider, quite a good distance, toes are pointing straight ahead. You're straight-legged forward fold, you're mindful of any challenge to the back of the body, to be careful of the depth you come into, or maintain a mild bend in the knees if there's any sensitivity present this morning. Hands on the thighs, push the bum back a little so the hip is behind the heel. You'll feel that hinge front from the front of your hip. We'll endeavour to maintain the legs straight if that's comfortable for you. That's your first intention. Then your second intention is a lengthening lumbar spine. Where's the point that you come to that you begin to round? Can you be before this? You recognize that your hands are not on your knees. There's no pressure on your knee. Your hands are on your thighs and they're taking a little weight. Breathe. Beautiful. This is good. Mild bend in the knees initially if you're not already there. Then bend your knees as much as you need to get the tips of your fingers or maybe your palms are very accessible in front of your feet. You keep your feet at this lining, this distance they are apart to slide or walk your feet towards the back of the mat, exploring a downward facing dog. Just like the start of your practice, the torso is back towards your thighs. If there's any challenge in the back of the body, perhaps you're playing around or exploring with bent knees, you can ground the knees at any moment. You could be a resting warrior. If it feels good, just for a few steady breaths you're up. Torso back towards the thighs, gaze straight down, below the navel. The lower belly is very active. Breathe really well. Your next exhale, the resting warrior. So your knees to the mat, as wide as your mat if you can. Now slide the big toes together.
And you're sitting back, sitting on a heel if you can, or working towards. You note your variations. Arms extended front and forehead to the mat, or stacked palms or stacked fists. Breathe steady, breathe long. If your arms are extended out in front, push away the mat lightly. Now that you're welcome to maintain as you are, but if comfortable, lift your head slightly. Without raising your hip to any degree, walk your hands to the point that's comfortable for you. Keeping your hands almost at shoulder distance apart. If it's accessible, welcome your forehead to the mat. Inhale, lifting your head, walk, slide or glide your hands to your left. Lifting of the head, walk, slide or glide back to center. We'll keep the head up. The intention is coming all the way front on your belly, and you're welcome to arrive there whichever way is necessary. Smoothly coming front, perhaps you straighten the legs out in front, and then release onto your belly. Bringing the chin to the mat. If that's a challenge, please work with the forehead. Let it practice to the chin. Slide your hands to be down by the sides of the body, and the hands slide in they tuck in rather, at a slight angle. This is good. Shalabhasana, the locust pose with a single leg raises. Base of pelvic and buttock muscles are lightly active. Think smaller movement. As you inhale, raise just the right leg up. But feel that the front of the right hip is still grounded or pushing against your hand. Leg is straight. Next exhale, release. Inhale the left with alternate side. Exhale, release. Inhale, right. Exhale, release. Inhale, left. Exhale. Inhale. No jerking, smooth as you can. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, right. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale. Take the hands out from underneath the thighs. Turn your gaze to your right, so your left cheek is grounded. If this is a challenge, you can be with your forehead. You can be with the opposite side if required. Hands are softly resting over the side of the body. Just 3 steady breaths. Next, inhale smoothly back to center. So please be aware if you have any challenge in the back of the body, perhaps you're working with the variation that we just went through. If that was accessible for you and there's any tenderness, work with a mild variation of being here with a single leg raise. If comfortable, however, we can progress and build a little further by taking the hands out in front, including the head, the chest and the arms, as well as the legs with alternate movement. So a little challenge in the coordination, but no jerking or force. Same engagement with the lower body. As you inhale, raise your right leg, left arm. If it feels good, raise the head and chest and gaze front, but no pressure on the neck. Exhale, coming down. How softly can you land? Bring your chin back to mat. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Smoothly down. Stack your palms on top of each other on the front of your mat. Then if it's comfortable, you can turn your right cheek. Turn your gaze to your left even, so your right cheek is resting on top of the palms. If this is uncomfortable, allow the palms to be slid as far front as you need to, or you can be with your forehead.
Just be here for a moment. Reaction to be noticed through the lower back region, through the hip, reaction to shoulder and neck. One more breath. Smoothly back to center. Extending your arms front, chin back to the mat. So please note the variations we went through. You can continue at your own rhythm with the alternate arm, alternate leg, or you can be with the single leg variation at your own rhythm also. But if comfortable, perhaps just one round of flying. The intention is raising the head, the chest, the arms and the legs. If you have any challenge in the upper body and the neck or lower back, please work with the previous variations. As you inhale, lower body engage, raise the arms, raise the head, raise the chest and raise the legs. And be there. Just 3 steady breaths. No pressure on the neck, you can drop the chin as you need to. Think basic pelvic, think lower back engage. Breathe. Exhale, coming down. How softly can you land? Take your feet to be as wide as your mat initially. Then turn your feet out. So the inner edge of the ankle and the big toe are grounding. It feels good, you can take your feet wider, each of us being different, so please play around with an appropriate distance for you between your feet. Then right hand, left shoulder, left hand, right shoulder. Allow the chin to rest on the crossed over arms. Your elbows can slide in front. Just 5 breaths of Makarasana, the crocodile breath. As you inhale, engage with the base of pelvic and buttock muscles, like tightening. As you exhale, release. Continue for 4 more breaths. All is well here. Bring the hands to the either side of the chest. Point your feet towards the back of the mat and bring your feet together. And pushing into your mat, taking care, bending at the knee. The intention is sitting all the way back, sitting onto the heels, grounding the elbow, bringing the heel of the palm together, and cradling the face. Be here for a moment. If this is a challenge, you can stack your fists, your palms, your hips could be higher, and your forehead could be resting here. Just 3 steady breaths. Lifting the head, releasing the hands, then raise up on your hands and your knees. Just like the start of your practice, readjust your alignment for your tiger breathing. Shoulder over the wrist or working towards. Knees wide, so wrists, knees and toes in a straight line. All is well here, just moving through your hip. But make it smaller. Smaller circles in the hip, in one direction. Then changing direction. Back to center. This is good. We'll work with this very subtle movement. It's an engagement of the rhomboid muscles that sit in between your shoulder blades and your spine. It's a very subtle movement. To work through, you want to maintain the arms straight. Often we'll bend the elbows to mimic depth, but as best you can, maintain the arms a little straighter. If this is good with the arms maintaining straight, so it's just an upper back movement. As you exhale, allow your chest to drop down in between your shoulder blades. This will be experienced as the shoulder blades working together, but you're not actively squeezing, and note that your arms are still working relatively straight. As you inhale, push out, so focusing through upper back. We'll continue for a few rounds. Exhale, chest drops down between the shoulders, feel shoulder blade work towards each other. Inhale, push out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And be there. If very comfortable, also release your head. Be there and breathe. the intention is as you breathe there, as you breathe and experience, feel how little by little the shoulder blades start to work closer towards each other, but you're not actively squeezing. Gravity is playing a little part. The breath is lengthening and relaxing the muscle. Next inhale, softly push up. This feels good, working through the shoulder and the neck a little. Any challenge in the area, work a little easier. Recognize the variations will take to come in. So the right side initially. You can tread the hand through immediately, but if it feels good, you can extend the right arm towards the ceiling, a little open the chest, even gaze to the hand. As you exhale, we'll take the time as you come through. Bring the right wrist to sit behind your left wrist and ground your elbow on the forearm. So this is the first such variation. If this is accessible to you, you can continue on this lining, treading all the way through. The intention is grounding the outer edge of the right shoulder all the way to the fingertips and the right side of the head lightly resting. If the right side of the head is resting, there's no pressure on the neck. The left palm is grounded, the elbow is up, and the left palm is lightly pushing into the mat. Breathe. Pressurizing the left palm and keeping the pressurized manner as you inhale, untread the right. Ground the hand immediately or send it up if it feels good. As you exhale, ground the right. Shoulder over the wrist or working towards that alignment. Changing sides, please be aware each side can be different, don't fight for depth. As you inhale, raise the left up. As you exhale, tread it through. You're thinking left wrist behind the right wrist, the forearm and elbow grounding. The feel steady, continue to tread through, but the left palm remains active, the right palm even remains active. Pushing into the mat, elbow towards the ceiling. If your left side of the head is on the mat, there's zero pressure on your neck. Pressurizing the right palm now a little further as you inhale and tread the left. Grounding the hand or sending it up and no pressure on neck or shoulder. As you exhale, ground the left. A few gentle rounds of your tiger breathing. So as you work and as you move, shoulder over wrist, moving through the spine. As you inhale, arch, lower back, middle back, upper back. Raise the head lightly. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Be there for a moment if you can. Shoulder over wrist, push away the mat lightly. Breathe. Beautiful. Inhale back to an easy spine, allow the belly to drop lightly. Knees wider, as wide as your mat. The resting warrior, the big toes together. Sitting back as best you can. Extend your arms front or stack the palms, stack the fists. And forehead to mat. If the hands are extended out in front, they push away the mat lightly. Breathe. Very comfortable. Lifting the head. You can maintain as you are, but if it feels good, a downward facing dog. Keep the distance between the hands and the feet. Raise the hip. Feet to shoulder distance. Taking toes under. Raise the knee. Push the hip up and back. A good distance is maintained between the hands and the feet. Gaze straight down. A bend in the knees to lessen the intensity. Little practice working towards straighter legs. Thinking below the navel. Base of pelvic active. Breathe. Bend the knees a little. So just playing around with your practice. Be aware you can confront it whichever way is best for you. Little practice, however. Right knee, right wrist. Shin is diagonal across the body. Left shin or ankle sacks on top. Then sitting back. Rolling back. coming onto your back. But mindful if there's anything solid behind you as you roll back. This is very slight. Once you come onto your back, a little rolling side to side. It's a soft rolling side to side. And coming to rest with the rolling. Keep bending the knees. We'll welcome the soles of the feet to the mat, as wide as your shoulders almost. Hands over the sides of the body, the heels in towards your fingertips, almost standing on your fingertips. You're thinking your knee is stacked almost directly over the ankle. Chin, and there's the mild double chin. Pushing the feet actively into the mat as you inhale. Raise through the lower back, middle back, upper back. Put no pressure on the neck if you're here. Exhale, release down, upper, middle, lower. Inhale, rest. Exhale, release. Inhale, rest. Exhale, release. Inhale, rest. Exhale, release. Smoothly releasing down each vertebra. Edge the feet together and extend your legs out straight. Hands down the sides of the body. Sternum is back. Chin is a little back. Your next exhale, bend the right knee. Draw the right thigh in towards the chest. Grab the leg. Feels good, nose to the knee. Be here for a moment. If there's any challenge in the neck, please keep your head grounded and work with drawing the thigh in. You can grab behind the thigh or in front of the knee or shin. Your next inhale, ground the head and the shoulder. The left hand continues to support the right leg. Right arm. If you have the space, a straight arm. Finger to shoulder line, palms down. If necessary, then 90-degree cactus arm. As you exhale, draw the right leg over towards the left side of the body. But only to the point that you can keep the back of the right shoulder grounding. If the right shoulder lifts, leg back to center, then get twisted from there. Inhale, center. Extending the right leg straight. Exhale the left, bend the knee, thigh towards the chest. Grab the leg, feels good for your neck. Nose to your knee. And be there for a moment, but no pressure on your neck. Lower belly active. Beautiful. Keep the thigh close, but grounding the head if you're still up. Left hand out to the side, straight arm, fingers in line with shoulder, cactus arm if necessary. Your next exhale with the assistance of the right hand, draw the left leg over towards the right side of the body. But keep the back of the left shoulder grounding. If it's lifting, come back to more center. Get grounded, then get twisted from there. Inhale, back to center. On the exhale, draw the right knee in to meet the left. So both thighs are in relatively close to the chest and the knees are together. Keep the thighs relatively close to the chest, but release the hands down the sides of the body. Now recognize with the thighs close to the body, how there's lower back, maybe there's a mild arch or the lower back's even engaged with the mat. Most importantly, back of the ribs is connected with the mat. Now we're going to endeavour to maintain this alignment. As you allow your thighs to move a little bit away from the body, the intention is the knee to be over the hip. Mild arch with the lower back perhaps, but keep the back of the ribs connected. Hands down the sides of the body. Be here for a moment. If this feels good, take your knees to be hip distance apart. So there's a little distance between your knees. Then raise the shin up. The intention is keeping the knee over the hip, but raise the shin up to where the ankle is in line with the knee. Toes draw back towards you, heels push away. Recognize what's happening to the lower back, what's happening to the mid back and the sternum, and the ribs even. Keep the ribs back. Chin is in a mild double chin, so recognize if chin is sliding up towards the ceiling. We're being here. If this feels good, raise the right arm up. Fingers point towards the ceiling. Raise the left arm up. but draw the backs of the shoulders to the mat. Chin in a mild double chin, base of pelvic, lower belly lightly engaged. Just a few steady breaths. What would 1 minute look like? If you have any challenge in the lower back, please work with the earlier variations. Recognize the steps we've taken. Breathe. Just 2 more breaths. Can they be longer? Can they be softer? But don't fight for it. Exhale, draw the thighs in towards the chest, grab the leg, then towards the knees, around the spine, nice tight ball down as you can. And as you inhale, release the head. Release the legs. Release and rest. The end of your practice. Coming into any variation that is comfortable for you. To rest at the end of your practice. I will remain in a seated position, but I encourage you to be lying down. You can have the legs straight, knees bent, be on your side, be on your front. Coverings and blankets and socks and jumpers are all welcomed. Take a moment to readjust. Take a moment to settle. And when you have made excuse me, all of the necessary adjustments, and you can feel that the body is just about beginning to arrive. All the urges to move are beginning to subside. And welcome stillness. Allow stillness to settle over the body. Allow it to move through the skin to where it's happily welcomed by your muscles, your bones, your joints, and this stillness, it takes up residence deep down in your nervous system. It holds the body. And within this holding, know that there is nothing more required of you. End of your practice. Know where you need to be. Nothing to be done. By being here is more than enough. And within this beautiful freedom, within this allowing, set your attention free to witness the breath. Witnessing the breath at the very center of the body, the center of the belly, at the navel. With your awareness lightly resting here, just notice the body's response. On the inhale, how the navel rises out of the stillness. And on the exhale, navel falls back to stillness. On the inhale, navel rises out of stillness. On the exhale, navel falls back to stillness. On the inhale, navel rises. On the exhale, navel falls. 17. 16. 15. 14. 13. 12. 11. 10. 9.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and feeling deep down at the bottom of the breath, even deeper essence of stillness to be experienced. The stillness in which resides that welcomed, that true, that authentic rest. Whole of the body is still. Whole of the body is rested. Reside within this rest for a moment. Note where you experience it the most. Be with the rest. As you allow body to remain within this position of deep rest, but extend your awareness to be beyond your body. And as your awareness extends beyond, allow it to transition to a more everyday, a more engaged awareness. Allowing this engaged awareness to influence breath into being a little fuller, a little more conscious. Feel how the breath awakens the body. It stirs stillness. It stirs stillness at your toes, your fingers, up into head and neck where chin rolls shoulder to shoulder. As your feet come softly back together, extending your arms up, overhead and behind. Begin at your feet, point your toes. Tighten your feet, tighten your legs. Take a big inhale, tighten belly, shoulders, fingers, thumb, tighten your whole body. Exhale, release. Right arm remains extended. Left hand to the belly. Folding the left knee. And roll to your right. Come onto your side for a moment. Eyes closed. And once you feel steady, come up to any seated variation, just like the start of your practice. Lifting the spine as best you can, eyes remaining closed. Coming to the end of your practice, just allow yourself a moment to note any difference at the start of your practice. Palms to press lightly, and you rub the palms. Generate some heat. Welcome back, nervous system. Placing a hand softly over the eyes. And extending the sides throughout the entire region of the face. Taking the hands a small distance away from the eyes. Gently blink the eyes open, gazing to palms. Namaste. Thank you all so much. Hope you have a good day and look forward to seeing you at your next practice. Thank you.